What's up, fam? I don't know who's watching right now, and I don't know if you're even watching from Nebraska, but I'm assuming you are. I mean, let's be real, we only have 5 subscribers. 4 of them are probably the people on our youth team. LOL. So if you're watching, what's up? Subscribe because we're going to start posting on here more. And I just wanted to process what was just announced in Nebraska for all our middle school and high schoolers. Everyone, but I'm talking to the middle school and high schoolers. P.S. What the inception in my glasses right now? I should just take them off, but we're already in, so here we go. I'm assuming that everyone is processing and or not processing this like no school thing in a bunch of different ways. My guess is that there's probably 3 main emotions running through your veins right now. One is sad, one is angry, and one is I don't even know. And if you're wondering if that's a feeling, it is. That feeling of what is happening? I feel kind of numb. I don't even have words to put towards how I feel. This is a mysterious emotion to me. All valid. Sad, angry, I don't know. I have felt all of those things in middle school and high school and as an adult. The only difference now is that I've learned to actually try and tap in to what I'm feeling. So I can actually work through it and process the emotions that I'm needing to feel. Because feelings aren't bad, but they're really bad guides. They're really bad at directions. They are the iPhone map compared to Google Map. If you know what I'm talking about. Google Maps are way better than iPhone maps, just FYI. So anywho, what do you do if you're feeling sad? You just feel it. You just keep feeling it. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself not feel bad for feeling bad. What do I mean by that? Is the situation at hand in the world worse for some? Absolutely. It would be silly for us to not know and acknowledge the fact that like it could be worse. You could actually be sick with the virus. Someone you know could die from the virus. You could not have the privilege or the access to even buy toilet paper. Let's be honest, there's people and things happening in other parts of this world and even in our own city and state that we won't have to even worry about experiencing just due to the access that we have, the availability that we have in Papillion, Nebraska. Let's just get that out of the way. We're aware. And if you're not aware, you're hopefully becoming aware right now that it could definitely be worse. On a scale of 1 to 10 and school being closed, globally, it's probably not 10. It's probably more like a 2. However, that doesn't negate your feelings, because the fact of the matter is in your world and in your life, high school was a big part. And if you had a scale attached 1 to 10, it probably actually would be like an 8 or a 9. And so I guess I want to just say right off the bat that there's no shame in feeling sad. There's no shame in feeling angry. And there's no shame in not even being able to put words to how you feel. So let me release you of that just like right off the bat. We acknowledge that things could be worse, and we acknowledge that things are really crazy for people, worse than we could comprehend or imagine. However, to negate what you're actually experiencing and going through, though, is to actually diminish all of it. Because everyone is experiencing some sort of loss, some sort of adjustment, some sort of whatever. We're all in a weird time, and it's wrong to point fingers to people and say like, well, my situation is worse than your situation, so you're not allowed to be sad. That's not cool, and that's not okay. We're going to acknowledge that it could be worse, but we're still going to process the fact that something really important to me got taken away, and I'm sad about it. So sorry, just disclaimer, wanted to get that all out of the way. So as we move forward, we can just know that like we're all on the same page. We're grateful that this might be the worst thing we have to deal with right now, but we're also still going to process the fact that it's happening. So if you're sad, let yourself be sad. Let yourself grieve the loss that you're losing. Seeing your friends, prom, all the dance recitals that you've been practicing for, all the baseball games that you've been training for, all the summer plans that you had planned, the activities, the vacations, the missions trips, the hangouts, just all of it. I mean, it's a loss, and it's okay to grieve it. Even as I talk about it, like, it makes me feel a little emotional just thinking that, like, yeah, maybe school didn't get taken away from me, but there are a lot of things happening that I won't get to experience I was really looking forward to. And so it's okay to be sad. It's okay to mourn the loss of this thing or that thing. To all my seniors in high school, it's okay to be sad that you didn't get to experience like that last day as a senior with all your friends. That like truly is like the best part of high school. Like I mean, I went to high school, believe it or not, back in the day, and to this day, some of my most fond memories are high school life, high school senior activities. It was a blast. Like, a lot of people say they never want to go back to high school. I sometimes wish I could, because like it was so fun. And it bums me out that knowing what I experienced, that like some of you seniors, you won't. But it's okay, because life is still going to go on, and there will be new experiences and new moments and all this other stuff that you'll still get to experience. So sad. If you're sad, let yourself be sad. Cry it out. Tears are awesome. Tears are good. Cry it out. Grieve it. Process it. Journal what you're feeling. But it's okay to be sad. The second thing I want to say is it's okay to be angry. It's also okay to feel angry and not even know who you're really angry at. Because honestly, who can we be angry at right now? I mean, we can pick people, but like at the end of the day, what's happening in the world, it's happening because broken and weird things happen in the world every day. It just so happens that this one is affecting more people than usual. It just so happens that this one's actually on the news. But like, let's be honest, like at the end of the day, this type of thing is actually affecting people all the time. It's just not making its way to America. So to be angry is okay, but to blame maybe isn't, because honestly, it is what it is. Like, it happened. And bitterness is a bad friend. Bitterness is a bad friend. So be angry. Like, you can feel anger, but if you feel like it's attached to someone or focused on a certain group of people, that's maybe when you need to reassess. Because anger is actually just a symptom of the fact that what you're actually feeling is sad. When you start to just learn how to process through all these emotions, you're going to realize that the root emotion a lot of the time is actually just like, I'm really hurt. And then from that comes the symptoms of anger and bitterness and all this kind of stuff. So all that to say, if you're angry, it's okay. But I want to encourage you to actually kind of maybe understand that maybe what's actually happening is you're just like really sad, but what's coming out of you is anger. It's normal. Hi, I have a temper and I can go from 0 to 90 in like 60 seconds. You would not even be able to recognize me because I can just see red in a moment. But I've learned throughout the years that what's actually happening, I'm sad, I'm hurt, I feel afraid, and anger is just the symptom coming out of me. So all that to say, if you're feeling angry, it's okay, but bring it back. And what are you actually sad about, hurt about? Because then we go back to that first stuff that I was talking about. It's okay to be sad. Process it out, journal it, talk to someone you trust, all those good things. And the third one is maybe you don't care. Maybe you feel literally numb. You don't really feel anything at all. Maybe your lack of processing any emotion at all has just gotten you to this place where you feel like you're literally like just existing. You're just kind of floating along. Once again, normal, okay. We've all been there. I know I've been there. I know that Netflix is like my numbing buddy. I know that Netflix becomes my best friend when I don't want to think about what I'm feeling or talk to anyone. Yeah, it becomes literally my best friend. And I just numb out and binge, and because then I don't have to think. But the sad part is eventually, like, I will, but I'm just gonna have a lot more to deal with because I didn't take the time to process it earlier. So now it's just been building. So my encouragement to you, if you're feeling numb, is to reach out to someone that you trust, and all you have to say is, I feel numb to everything, and I don't know how to even begin to like process my emotions. Like, I don't know what exactly you need to say, but to just reach out to someone and be like, I need someone to talk to. And I'm not even sure if I want to talk. I just want to know that like you're there. So can you even just like be on the phone with me as I sit there in silence? Like, and if you don't have that person, I volunteer, and I know a bunch of other people that would. So I don't know if any of this is helping. I don't know if any of this even makes any sense to you, but I just want you to know that your feelings are real, but they aren't the best guide. And so I want to tell you real quick who is the best guide, and that is Jesus. Don't tune out right now for those of you who are like, I don't want to hear any of this Jesus crap. I'm about to X out of this box. Just listen for 3 seconds because I want to tell you something real quick. This is what Jesus says to you, to me. I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness because you will have the light that leads to life. Your feelings might feel dark, but the good news is that Jesus is a light in the midst of it. Following Jesus doesn't mean that you never feel sad. Following Jesus doesn't mean that you never feel angry. Following Jesus doesn't mean that the coronavirus doesn't overtake the world. But Jesus is the light in the midst of coronavirus. Jesus is the light in the midst of your anger. Jesus is the light in the midst of your sadness. Big question. Okay, well, if Jesus is so great and so powerful, why is the coronavirus even happening? Great question. I have that question every day when I see kids being kidnapped, when I see people being horribly rude and evil to one another, when I see death happening for young people or taking a mom or a dad too soon. I have those questions every single day. But here's something else that Jesus told us. He's like, you're gonna have trials. many trials and sorrows. He doesn't even just throw it out there and say, oh, you're going to have a few hard days. No, he says you are going to have many trials and many sorrows, but take heart. I've overcome the world. So if someone's ever put Jesus out there to you and made it seem as if Jesus equals everything's going to be perfect, sorry, that person is wrong. But I'm here to tell you that this is where Jesus becomes real. This is where the rubber meets the road. Because when things start getting stripped away from you, like something like school that you thought was certain, you thought that May 15th was going to come and you were going to graduate. You thought prom was going to come. You had your dress picked out. You thought your baseball game was going to come because you've been practicing. If anything is being taught to us through this whole situation, it's that nothing in this life is certain and everything in this life is temporary. What's the one thing that we can count off? Jesus Christ. He's the only thing that we can count on so that when crap hits the fan, Jesus is still the same. When a guy eats a bat and like coronavirus starts spreading, Jesus is still the same. When all these things are happening, Jesus is still the same. And so I just encourage you, if you've never even wondered or thought about Jesus, dude, this is the time. This is the time to think, because it's like, what have you got to lose at this point? Like, what have you got to lose? I know what I have to lose if I don't trust Jesus. But I also know like what I have to gain if I do. Consider your life with or without Christ. The coronavirus is going to happen regardless. People are going to die regardless. Evil exists regardless. So life without Christ, all that stuff is happening. Life with Christ, all that stuff is still going to happen. But what's the difference? Is I have a guide. I have peace. I have joy. I have something to cling to that will never, ever change. And so that's the point. That's the good news of the gospel, is that Jesus will be with you in the storm, because the storms are going to be there regardless. Storm without Christ, storm with Christ. But do you want an anchor in your storm? I do. I want an anchor in my storm. And so that's why I choose Jesus. And so that's my encouragement to you. Just consider Jesus. Just consider that today or tomorrow, Corona's still going to be here. But today you could have Jesus, and tomorrow you could also have Jesus, whereas yesterday you didn't. And there's an anchor available to you with light and joy and peace in the midst of your storms, not to remove them, but to help you in them. And so I pray that you would consider Jesus. That's the big takeaway. Consider Jesus. What have you got to lose? What have you got to lose? Life's going to go on, you guys, and there's going to be more trials to come. What is happening in Corona with Corona and everything? It's only just begun. It's only just started, especially for us in the Midwest. So consider Jesus, because what have you got to lose? I know you have a lot to gain, though. So if you have questions, type them in the comments. If you have ideas or ways in which you want to help us get more active on YouTube, put it in the comments. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff in the comments or in the description box below of people that you can connect to or places that you can get connected. I hope that this was somewhat helpful to you. I figured, hey, in the same way I asked you what you have to lose, I figured I don't have anything to lose by putting this out here. Whether you watch it, that's great. If you don't, That's great too. It's fine. But I hope that you'll consider Jesus. I hope that you'll consider the anchor of your soul and what he wants to show you and who he wants to be to you in this time in our lives when things are getting stripped away from us and we don't have any control over it. And the only really real choice we have every day is to choose God or to not. So consider Jesus. Think about it. The verse I read to you earlier was John 8:12. Maybe you want to read it for yourself. John 8:12 in the Bible. And yeah, I hope you'll read it. And I hope you'll consider Jesus. I love you guys. We're here for you. And we're praying for you. See you later.